He was a bastard born into the prestigious sword clan, a child cast aside, belittled, broken, and forgotten. But fate, as if moved by his suffering, offered him a second chance. Reborn in blood and flame, he began again, this time committed to mastering the art of war. He discovered a truth. Life and death were not opposites, but intertwined paths. He might be broken, but he would never surrender. Now, he walks the blade's edge, rewriting his story with every swing of his blade. This story begins in chaos, a palace engulfed in flames. Smoke choked the skies, and fire raged uncontrollably. Servants sprinted through the inferno, screaming for their lives, only to be cut down by masked assailants. They weren't spared, nor could they fight back. In the heart of this hell, Ragnar was locked in battle with one of the invaders. Steel clashed against steel with a shrill ring. Theo parried the enemy's attack, his blade moving instinctively, but the enemy was fast, striking again from above. Theo barely managed to block, and sparks burst as the blades scraped together. The Ragnar clan was no ordinary family. A great ducal house, it guarded the empire's northernmost frontier from the Great Northern Wall for over 1,000 years. The clan's legend was built on the claim that dragon blood ran through their veins. Every descendant was born with incredible magical prowess, insane physical endurance, and a natural affinity for swordsmanship. Every descendant, except for Theo. He was the exception, the worthless one. And in this fight, it showed. Another blow broke through his guard, sending him crumpling to the ground with a deep wound. His opponent loomed over him and scoffed. All this time, and you still don't get it. There are some things you just can't do, no matter how hard you try. The man spoke with disdain, as if looking down on a stubborn child. Usually, people like you blame it on a lack of talent. Theo looked up in disbelief. The man pulled off his mask, revealing a face that sent shock and betrayal crashing through Theo. It was Rendan, his teacher, the one who had trained him day after day. Rendan sneered. Seeing you train every morning, trying so hard when it's pointless, was pathetic. You've never had talent. It was like watching a dog learn to dance. He chuckled bitterly and added, Worthless Ragnar. That's what they should call you. It's fitting. Theo's body trembled. You offered to teach me, to be my fencing instructor. All those techniques, were they just meaningless moves to waste my time? He drove his sword into the ground in fury, but in a flash of steel, Rendan's blade swung, and Theo's arm flew off, blood spraying across the scorched floor. Theo screamed. Rendan casually shook blood off his sword. Why are you blaming me? He asked coldly. He grabbed Theo by the hair, forcing him to lift his head and face the devastation. Look around. The palace is burning. Your family is dying. Why? His eyes flicked toward an ally dragging a lifeless woman across the bloodied marble. When her body was tossed at Theo's feet, his world collapsed. It was his mother, cold, lifeless, gone. Rendan continued, Why is your mother a corpse now? It's because you're worthless. In a clan built on power, you were the weakest link. Theo froze, unable to comprehend it all. His head spun with grief, betrayal, and rage. But suddenly, something inside him snapped. With a furious scream, he grabbed his sword and launched himself at Rendan. But he never reached him. A blade flew from the side, stabbing through his chest. Another assassin stepped forward and said to Rendan, You're talking too much. Finish him. Rendan nodded. My bad. Got caught up in the nostalgia. Theo's vision began to fade. The fire danced before his eyes. His mother's body lay still. His teacher stood over him. A traitor. He had failed to save anyone. Is this how it ends? If I had talent, would any of this be different? Tears fell down his cheeks. The world turned black. Then, something strange happened. A translucent screen floated before his eyes. You have died. Activating regression ability. Returning to the designated regression point. When Theo opened his eyes, a wooden sword was swinging in front of his face. His heart pounded in his chest. What just happened? Let's end training for today, a familiar voice said. Theo blinked, stunned. It was Rendon. His arm was back. He was standing. There was no fire, no corpses, no blood. Rendon looked annoyed but normal, as if none of the horrors had ever happened. Theo staggered back, his eyes wide with disbelief. Didn't I just die? Wasn't I bleeding out while the palace burned? He couldn't believe it. The first face he saw after death was his. That traitor's smug face. Is this a punishment? He wondered. Even death can't spare me from him. As he tried to make sense of things, another screen popped up. Punch your instructor in the face. Theo stared at the screen, completely bewildered. What is this? A hallucination? A gift from the gods? He looked at Rendon. The man couldn't see the screen. Theo clenched his fist. Whether this is a dying dream or divine mercy, I'll make the most of it. He lunged forward and socked Rendon square in the jaw. For a moment, Rendon just stood there, shocked. Then, his eyes flared with anger. What the hell was that? He shoved Theo backward. Theo rolled across the ground, bruised and confused. That hurt, he realized. I can feel pain. This isn't a dream. Rendon sighed, exasperated. I get it. You're frustrated. The awakening ceremony's coming, and you've seen no results. But attacking your teacher? He gave Theo a disappointed look and added, Besides, you're a Ragnar. You should be using a sword, not your fists. Then he turned and walked away, muttering, Lessons over. Theo sat there, dazed. The other students laughed, mocking him. He just punched his teacher out of nowhere. What a joke. Is he really a Ragnar? Even for a bastard, this is a new low. But Theo didn't hear them. His fingers pressed against his face. He could feel the pain. The texture of the floor beneath him. This is real. Then it hit him. The awakening ceremony. It hasn't happened yet. This is 10 years ago. His hands trembled. I went back. Another screen appeared before him. Training task complete. Reward. Awakening of the Ragnar. Talent accept reward? He hesitated for a moment, then hit yes. A blinding light burst from his chest, sucking in energy from the surroundings like a vortex. The system displayed, talent acquired. Stat growth will now accelerate. Theo's eyes widened. This isn't just a second chance. It's a system, and it was just getting started. Sometime later, in the tranquil Rose Palace, Rendon paid a visit to Lady Cecilia, Theo's mother. She served him tea with a warm smile. How's Theo's progress? Rendon smiled thinly. I've never met someone with so little talent, but that's why I'm here. I'll do my best to prepare him for the awakening ceremony, no later than 5 months from now. Cecilia beamed. I'm not worried. I believe in my son. She handed him a pouch of gold coins. Just keep a closer eye on him. Rendon pocketed the coins with a smirk. Of course, I'll teach him day and night. But as soon as he stepped into the hallway, his expression twisted in contempt. She's just a concubine, and her son is no better. A complete waste of time. He weighed the pouch in his hands and smiled cruelly. Still, this is good money. And I get to be known as the instructor of a Ragnar. For feeding information and stunting Theo's growth, the Camellia Palace promises a bright future. Worthless Ragnar, you'll be the reason I rise. Just then, he heard hurried footsteps. He turned and saw Theo sprinting down the hall. Worthless idiot, Rendon muttered. But Theo ran past him without even a glance. He doesn't matter right now. Theo rushed straight into his mother's arms. She was talking with a servant when he interrupted, breathing heavily. Theo, you must be tired from today's training, she began. But before she could finish, Theo embraced her tightly. Cecilia was caught off guard. What's gotten into you? Tears welled in Theo's eyes. She's alive. I really went back. Images of her lifeless body flashed in his mind. Never again. This time, he would protect her. He would protect everything. He held her tighter. Later that night, under a dark, snowy sky, Theo began training. No more hesitation, no more doubts. He ran through the snow, pushing his body to its limits. I want revenge. I want to crush Rendon. But I'm too weak. But this time, he had information. In his past life, He had joined the intelligence agency Black Snow. Though demoted due to his lack of skill, he had still come across valuable secrets. Secrets like the Emperor's Bloody Sword elixir, a potion that drastically enhances physical abilities. The extreme body tempering training he once gave up on. Back then, none of it worked. He had no talent. But now, he had Ragnar talent. He trained through the night, running without rest. By dawn, his system displayed training progress, 27%. He picked up a wooden sword and began swinging. Now I can run farther. Swing faster. He pushed harder. Progress, 65%. Other students arrived and stared at him, shocked. He's been at it all night. Is that really Theo? He ignored them. There was only one thought in his mind. Stronger, stronger, stronger. Days passed. Theo never stopped. From a distance, Evelyn Naravale, manager of the 4th Training Grounds, watched him. A former elite of the white-armored dragon riders, she'd lost her left arm in battle. Despite her retirement, she was known for her principles. She despised cowardice and corruption. Lighting a cigarette, she observed the boy training non-stop for days. Wasn't he supposed to be worthless? She muttered. His body trembled with exhaustion. He looked like he might die. But he never gave up. Progress, 97%. Last night, he rested for a few minutes. The system punished him. Progress dropped to 89%. He never made that mistake again. Now, with blood on his palms and blisters on his fingers, he roared and pushed forward. 99%. 99%. He kept running. He would run until he forgot how to breathe. Evelyn narrowed her eyes. How's he even still moving? With one final burst of effort, Theo swung his sword one more time. Training task complete. Reward, Dragon Heart acquired. A radiant light burst from his chest. He collapsed, but the system wasn't done. Bonus reward, 10 years' worth of magical energy accumulated. His fingers trembled as he pressed accept. A surge of energy blasted through him, kicking up a storm of snow and wind. Evelyn jumped to her feet in shock. Theo lost consciousness. He awoke in a warm bed. Startled, he sat up, his muscles sore, but his body intact. Evelyn entered. This is the resting room at Training Ground 4, she said. You passed out. Even a Ragnar wouldn't survive pushing themselves like that. Theo blinked. Evelyn Naravale? Glad you remember. She handed him a glass of water. Tell me something, Theo. You do know that opening your mana hall before the awakening ceremony is forbidden, right? Theo froze. And you do know the penalty for doing so? He hesitated. I didn't. You sure? She said, her tone turning sharp. Because just before you passed out, a burst of mana was detected. Like the kind that happens when someone opens a mana hall. He felt a warmth in his chest, the place where the dragon heart resided. So that's what she sensed. Her eyes narrowed. You opened it, didn't you? He looked up, then smiled nervously. Are you sure you can handle what happens if you're wrong? Her brow furrowed. As a Ragnar, if you falsely accuse me, it's considered a direct insult. The punishment is execution. She paused. He continued, voice calm but firm. You willing to take that risk? She hesitated. Then she reached toward his abdomen. Her hand hovered for a moment, glowing with mana. She searched for the mana hall. Her eyes widened. Nothing? That's right, he said, feigning confusion. She dropped to her knees. I have made a grave mistake. Please, carry out the sentence. I'll accept death. Theo looked down at her and smiled. Of course there's nothing. A dragon heart isn't in the abdomen like a normal mana hall. It's in the chest, hidden. He reached out, patted her shoulder gently. There's no need. You acted out of principle. I respect that. Then he turned toward the door. You risked your life for the truth. That's rare. I value that. He paused. Besides, the ban on mana halls before awakening is about safety. You were worried I'd overfill mine, weren't you? She looked up, speechless. Theo smiled. Thanks for caring, Evelyn. And with that, he walked out.